Hey everyone, hope you are all doing super well right now. I know we are back in quarantine and I am nowhere near my science lair. I am in a room so that I can demonstrate one of our upcoming labs, the lab that you're going to do today, which is Lab 4.2. Now, before we do this, I am going to take a second and I am going to put up a couple screens that talk about low pressure, high pressure, and air pressure. These are three things that you need to know before doing the lab. This is something that you should write down in your word wall. There are no scientific concepts in this video, but there is in fact the three words to do this. So I will now put up the three words that will be required for you to go on your word wall. So the first one is air pressure. Now, air pressure is the weight of the air above us in the atmosphere. Now, this is something that we talk about in this lab, and we're kind of going to see, and it actually is a question that's tied into it on your air pressure check-in later on in your checklist. Now, the second definition is low pressure, which is a whirling mass of warm, moist air that generally brings stormy weather with strong winds. Now, if you need reference, you can go back into the introduction video and you can actually see these pictures in use talking about that warm air that kind of goes up into the atmosphere and then brings those storm clouds with strong winds. The last and third definition is high pressure. It is a whirling mass of cool, dry air that generally brings fair weather and light winds. Now, this high pressure system is once again showcased in the introductory video that you should have watched at the start of this checklist. So now we are going to do our Lab 4.2. I'm going to tell you how to set this up. I'm going to walk you through a couple quick instructions. You're going to need a cell phone for this. Also, if you don't have access to a cell phone for any reason, which is totally okay, I'm actually going to do this lab later on in this video, and if you don't have a cell phone, you can actually just use my readings that I get from my lab. So, first things first, we have a barometer app that we need to download. So I'm going to go onto my phone right here, and I'm going to go on my app store, which looks just like this, and I am going to look up barometer. Now, when you look up barometer, you should be able to see many of these different things, but you are going to look for this one. It is called Barometer and Altimeter Pro. Now, that should be in front of the screen. Once again, I can put up a screenshot of this so that you can see what to download. After you download that app, you can begin your lab. Now, if you look at the sheet that we gave you in your checklist, that is the rewritten Lab 4.2. This is not the Lab 4.2 that's in your packet. It's going to be a rewritten version that is tagged on your checklist. You can download it, you can write on it, anything that you need to do. It's a little bit different so that you can do this at home. So, now going into the lab. What you're going to do is you're going to open this barometer app, and it's going to show up a screen just like this. Now, when you open up this screen, you are going to see like a gauge in the center, and you're going to see three things underneath it. Once again, I'll put up a screenshot of this so that you can see what's going on with this. And when you do, you need to pay attention to something called station pressure. That's the first little like line of words underneath the gauge, station pressure. I can also put that up on the movie during this video. That is your air pressure. That's what you are going to record in your lab. There's a chart on the first page. You're going to put that in there. So, basically what this lab does is it takes three different air pressures. If you look at the one that was in your packet, it says that you're going to do it on the first, the second, and the third floor of south. That's actually not going to happen because we are obviously not in school. So instead, we are going to redo this lab, but we're going to do it with a chair and a room. Now, I have chosen a room in my house that has a very high ceiling. You don't need a high ceiling. I just happen to have one, so I'm going to use it, and then I'm going to stick my barometer app way up in the air on the third part of the lab. So if you go into the lab, the first thing that you're going to see is that we need to do a reading on the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start another video, and you're going to see where I've placed my barometer app on the ground and what I need to look for as it's on the ground. I'll catch you there. So, welcome to the best thing known as the floor. what is going to happen is right here I've placed my phone on the ground. Now it's going to be kind of hard to see this with the screen, and once again I will take a screenshot with this and put it up on the lab later on when I do the lab. So what you're going to do is you are going to look at your barometer app just like this, and I'm looking at that station pressure right here. So in this case I have 989.38 or 39. And what you're going to do is you're going to write that down in your first column. That's going to count as the ground level reading for your lab. Now I'm going to go into the second part where you are going to do this on top of a chair, and then the third part where you're going to do it in the air. See you there. Okay guys, so now we're at the second part of the video. I have grabbed a chair from my kitchen, and this is what you can use. You can use any type of chair. You could even put it on a countertop if you wanted. Which is suggested, but I'm going to use a chair since it's right here. So the next part of this lab, you're going to do the same exact thing that you did on the ground, but instead you're going to put it on the chair. I suggest that you can either put it upright or you can put it down, laying down on the chair, just like I did with my phone. And when it's done, you're going to take a screenshot or you're going to write down that reading. Now I'm going to catch you up in the ceiling, and we're going to do number 3. So now we are going to do trial number 3 out of our lab 4.2. And what we need to do is we need to take our barometer app, just like this, and I am going to carefully stand on top of the chair, and I'm going to do my third trial. I'm going to get a reading way up in the air, very close to the ceiling. So I am going to carefully step up on my chair. I am going to raise my arm up, and I am going to hold my barometer as close to the ceiling as I can. I can even go very, very high up towards the ceiling. And I am going to get my reading, and I'm going to put it in the third column, number 3, of our trial, and I'm going to finish the lab doing that. After that, there's going to be a set of questions to complete. Please do those questions. Those are not optional, and they will actually matter when you get into the Schoology check-in later on in the week. The next minute or so, I'm going to put up the screenshots from what I got on my lab. If you don't have a phone or don't have an electronic device, that is totally okay. Take a look at these screenshots. You can do the lab too, and best of luck going from there. Great, so now I'm going to put up the screenshots of what I got during my readings. At this time, you're going to see the first screenshot. This is going to be the ground level screenshot. You just need to look at the station pressure. If you wanted to look at the other things too, you can, but for this lab, it's going to be station pressure. So this is the ground level or first trial station pressure. Next up on the screen is going to be the secondary, the tabletop or the chair top station pressure. And after that, I'm going to now put up the third level, which was me standing on top of the chair, getting a reading very close to the ceiling. Once again, you can pause the video, go through these if you need them again. Best of luck. These should be the readings that you need to do this lab. Remember, you can email Mr. Bingaman or I with any questions. And happy sciencing.